If you're struggling financially, professionally, or personally, I'm going to tell you something that might make you angry. Your problems are not caused by the economy, your background, your education, or bad luck. Your problems are caused by the way you think about outcomes. And until you change that, nothing else will change. You've been trained to expect problems, prepare for disasters, and assume things won't work out. This mental programming is more destructive than any external circumstance you'll ever face, while you've been making excuses and blaming external factors. Successful people with worse starting conditions have been acting as if everything works out for them and creating lives that prove it. The uncomfortable truth is that your current results are a perfect reflection of your current expectations. There is a secret that separates millionaires from everyone else. It's not what you think. It's not about having more money, better connections, or superior intelligence. The secret is this: successful people act as if everything always works out for them. And because they do, it does. Right now, millions of people wake up every morning consumed by worry. They check their phones and immediately fill their minds with problems, disasters, and reasons why things might go wrong. They live in a constant state of anxiety, always preparing for the worst case scenario. They spend more time planning for failure than they do planning for success. But here's what I've learned after studying successful people for over 40 years. The highest achievers think completely differently. They wake up with an unshakable belief that whatever happens today, they'll handle it successfully. They don't hope things will work out, they know they will. This isn't positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is something far more powerful. When you act as if everything always works out, you're not being naive or unrealistic. You're operating from a position of strength. You're programming your mind to look for solutions instead of problems. You're training your brain to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Let me tell you about Maria, a client of mine who lost her job during an economic downturn. While her colleagues were panicking and sending out desperate resumes, Maria acted as if this was the best thing that could happen to her. She told everyone, "This is perfect timing. I'm going to find something even better." And you know what? Within 6 weeks, she landed a position with a 20% salary increase at a company she'd always wanted to work for. The difference wasn't luck, it was her mindset. Your brain is the most sophisticated computer ever created, but most people are programming it with garbage. Every time you say, "What if this doesn't work?" or "I hope I don't mess this up," you're giving your brain instructions to look for ways things can go wrong. Your brain follows orders. If you tell it to find problems, it will find problems. If you tell it to find solutions, the neuroscience is clear on this. When you expect positive outcomes, your brain activates the reticular activating system, which filters information to support your expectations. You literally start seeing opportunities that were invisible before. Your brain becomes solution-oriented instead of problem-focused. But here's the key. You must act as if, not just think as if. Action creates belief, not the other way around. When you take bold action based on the assumption that things will work out, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind. You're telling yourself, "I'm the kind of person who succeeds." Think about how differently you would approach your goals if you knew with absolute certainty that you would achieve them. You wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't second guess yourself. You wouldn't waste time on backup plans that assume failure. You would move forward with confidence and determination. This is exactly how every successful person I've ever met operates. They don't have a crystal ball that shows them the future. They don't have guarantees that the rest of us don't have. What they have is an unwavering belief that they will find a way to make things work. And because they believe it, they do. When you act as if everything always works out, you make better decisions. You're not operating from fear or desperation. You're operating from abundance and confidence. You negotiate better deals because you're not afraid to walk away. You take calculated risks because you trust your ability to handle whatever comes up. You build stronger relationships because people are naturally drawn to confident, positive individuals. The difference between hoping and knowing is enormous. Hope is passive. Hope says, maybe this will work out. Knowing is active. Knowing says, I will make this work out. Hope creates anxiety because it's based on uncertainty. Knowing creates power because it's based on faith in your own abilities. The one sentence, most people live their entire lives in hope mode. They hope they'll get the promotion. They hope their business will succeed. They hope their relationships will improve. But successful people operate in knowing mode. They know they'll get the promotion because they're already acting like someone who deserves it. They know their business will succeed because they're already solving problems and serving customers. They know their relationships will improve because they're already being the kind of person others want to be around. This fundamental shift in thinking changes everything. When you act as if everything always works out, you stop wasting energy on worry and start investing that energy in solutions. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work, and start asking, how can I make this work? You stop preparing for failure and start preparing for success. The beautiful thing about this principle is that it becomes self-reinforcing. The more you act as if everything works out, the more often things actually do work out. This builds your confidence, which strengthens your belief, which improves your actions, which creates better results. It's a positive, upward spiral that compounds over time. Your life is a reflection of your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If you constantly expect problems, you'll find them. If you consistently expect solutions, you'll find those too. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make every single day, in every single situation, starting today. You can make the decision to act as if everything always works out for you. Not because you're guaranteed success, but because this mindset gives you the best possible chance of achieving it. When you operate from this place of quiet confidence, you become unstoppable. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you consistently tell it is real. This is one of the most powerful discoveries in modern psychology, and it explains why acting as if everything works out actually makes everything work out. Every thought you think creates a neural pathway in your brain. When you think the same thought repeatedly, that pathway becomes stronger, like a trail through the woods that gets wider with each person who walks it. Eventually, these pathways become superhighways of automatic thinking. This is why people who consistently expect good things to happen seem to live charmed lives, while those who expect problems seem to attract them like magnets. The self-fulfilling prophecy isn't just a nice concept, it's a scientific reality. When you believe something will happen, you unconsciously behave in ways that make it more likely to occur. You notice opportunities others miss. You persist when others give up. You speak with confidence that influences others to help you. You make decisions that align with your expected outcome. Let me tell you about Robert, a salesman who was struggling to meet his quotas. He came to me convinced he was a failure. I taught him to act as if he was already the top performer in his company. Every morning, he would dress like a top performer, walk like a top performer, and talk like a top performer. Within 3 months, he became the top performer. Nothing changed about his product or his territory. Only his certainty changed. And that changed everything. When you act with certainty, you trigger what psychologists call the competence loop. Confidence leads to better performance, which builds more confidence, which leads to even better performance. It's a cycle that feeds on itself and grows stronger with each repetition. Here's what happens in your brain when you operate with certainty. Your prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, becomes more active. You process information faster. You see connections others miss. You make decisions more quickly because you're not paralyzed by doubt. Speed of decision-making is often the difference between success and failure in any competitive situation. Certainty also creates what I call the magnetic effect. People are naturally drawn to individuals who seem to know where they're going. They want to follow confident leaders. They want to do business with people who seem sure of themselves. They want to be around those who radiate positive energy and expectation. But here's the trap most people fall into. They wait for external circumstances to give them certainty. They think, I'll be confident when I get the promotion, or I'll act successful when I have more money. This is backwards thinking. Certainty must come first, then the results follow. The victim mentality is the opposite of certainty. Victims believe things happen to them, not for them. They blame circumstances, other people, the economy, their upbringing, or bad luck for their problems. This mindset is not only disempowering, it's completely inaccurate. You have far more control over your outcomes than you realize. Taking full responsibility for your results, both good and bad, is the foundation of certainty. When you accept that you are the primary creative force in your life, you stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, how can I handle this? This doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend problems don't exist. It means you approach every situation with the unshakable belief that you will find a way to make it work in your favor. You become what I call a inverse paranoid, someone who believes the universe is conspiring to help them succeed. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, but it can't tell the difference between what you imagine vividly and what you experience in reality. When you consistently act as if everything works out, you're programming your subconscious to look for ways to make that true. You're giving it a clear instruction. Find the path to success. The most successful people I know have developed an automatic response to challenges. Instead of thinking, this might not work, they immediately think, how can I make this work? Instead of, what if I fail? They ask, what if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams? This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic thinking. Your current level of certainty is creating your current level of results. If you want different results, you need a different level of certainty. You need to upgrade your mental operating system from hope and worry to faith and expectation. The beautiful truth is that you can choose your level of certainty. You can decide right now to act as if everything always works out for you. You can decide to expect the best possible outcome in every situation. You can decide to approach every challenge with confidence and determination. This decision will rewire your brain, change your behavior, and transform your results. The psychology of certainty isn't just about feeling better. It's about creating the conditions for extraordinary success in every area of your life. Now that you understand the psychology behind certainty, let's talk about how to build this mindset into your daily routine. Knowledge without action is worthless. You need practical strategies that you can implement immediately to start living as if everything always works out. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. The first 30 minutes after you wake up are crucial for programming your mind. Instead of reaching for your phone and filling your head with news and problems, start with mental conditioning. Look in the mirror and say, something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Say it with conviction, not as a hope, but as a fact. The words you speak to yourself throughout the day become your reality. Most people have terrible self-talk habits. They say things like, I can't afford it, I'm not good enough, or this is too hard. These phrases program your brain for failure. Replace them with powerful alternatives. I'll find a way. I'm getting better every day and I can handle this. When challenges arise, and they will, you must reframe them immediately. Instead of seeing a problem, see a puzzle to solve. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, this is terrible, try, this is interesting. How can I turn this to my advantage. Janet, a small business owner, lost her biggest client without warning. Instead of panicking, she said, "This is perfect timing. Now I can focus on finding 3 smaller clients instead of depending on one big one." Within 60 days, she had replaced the lost income with more diverse, stable revenue streams. The setback became the setup for greater success. Building unshakable faith in your abilities requires daily evidence collection. Keep a success journal where you write down every small victory, every problem you solve, every compliment you receive. Your brain needs proof that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. The more evidence you collect, the stronger your certainty becomes. But here's a critical point. You can plan for contingencies without doubting your success. Smart people create backup plans, but they don't focus on them. They prepare for obstacles while maintaining absolute certainty in their ability to overcome them. It's like carrying an umbrella. You have it just in case. But you expect sunshine. The principle of persistent action is fundamental. When you act as if everything works out, you don't quit at the first sign of difficulty. You keep moving forward because you know the breakthrough is coming. You understand that temporary setbacks are simply course corrections, not stop signs. Your environment shapes your mindset more than you realize. Surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities, not limitations. Limit your exposure to negative news and pessimistic people. Read biographies of successful people. Listen to educational programs that reinforce positive thinking. Feed your mind with content that supports your new identity as someone who expects success. There are certain habits and people that create doubt in your mind. Identify them and eliminate them ruthlessly. Stop watching programs that focus on disasters and problems. Stop associating with people who complain constantly. Stop reading content that makes you feel fearful or inadequate. Your mental diet is as important as your physical diet. Practice mental rehearsal daily. Spend 10 minutes each evening visualizing yourself successfully handling tomorrow's challenges. See yourself making that sales call with confidence. Picture yourself having that difficult conversation with grace. Imagine yourself solving problems with creativity and ease. This mental practice prepares your brain for success. The key to making this mindset permanent is consistency. You must practice these strategies every single day until they become automatic. It takes approximately 21 days to form a new habit and 90 days to create a new lifestyle. Commit to this process completely, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your outer world begins to reflect your inner certainty. Remember, you're not just changing your thinking, you're changing your entire approach to life. You're becoming someone who expects the best and usually gets it. Life will test your commitment to acting as if everything works out. The universe has a way of sending you exactly the challenges you need to prove to yourself that you can handle anything. These aren't punishments, they're promotions in disguise. Every temporary failure contains the seed of an equivalent or greater success. This isn't just motivational talk. It's a fundamental truth about how growth works. When you face a setback while maintaining your certainty mindset, you're not just solving a problem. You're building the mental muscle that will carry you through bigger challenges ahead. The compound effect of consistent positive thinking is remarkable. Each time you choose to respond to a setback with confidence instead of despair, you're making a deposit in your mental strength account. Over time, these deposits accumulate into an unshakable foundation of inner resilience. Consider Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I haven't failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that don't work." This wasn't positive thinking, this was strategic thinking. He knew that each failure brought him closer to success because he was eliminating possibilities and gathering valuable data. The key to bouncing back faster from disappointments is your recovery time. Successful people feel the same emotions as everyone else when things go wrong. but they don't stay in those emotions. They feel the disappointment, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then shift their focus back to solutions. Here's a powerful technique when faced with a setback. Ask yourself 3 questions immediately. First, what can I learn from this? Second, how can this make me stronger? Third, what's my next move? These questions shift your brain from problem-focused to solution-focused thinking. Learning from every experience without losing faith is an art form. You must become a student of your own life, constantly extracting lessons and wisdom from both successes and failures. But here's the crucial part. You learn the lesson without changing your fundamental belief that everything works out in your favor. The difference between course correction and giving up is enormous. When you're committed to acting as if everything works out, you never give up on your goals, you simply adjust your approach. You're like a guided missile that constantly corrects its trajectory while staying locked on its target. Building resilience through mental rehearsal is incredibly powerful. Spend time each week imagining yourself handling setbacks with grace and confidence. See yourself receiving bad news and immediately thinking, this is going to lead to something even better. Practice this mental response until it becomes automatic. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no good ideas. His first animation company went bankrupt. He was told Mickey Mouse would fail because a giant mouse on screen would terrify women. He faced rejection after rejection, but he never stopped acting as if his vision would succeed. Today, Disney is synonymous with imagination and success. The most successful people I've studied have one thing in common. They turn their problems into possibilities. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves or blaming others. They immediately start looking for the opportunity hidden within the challenge. They ask, how can I use this to my advantage? Your problems are not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Every obstacle you overcome makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable. Every setback teaches you something valuable about yourself and your goals. Every failure provides data that brings you closer to success. When you truly understand that setbacks are setups for comebacks, you stop fearing them and start welcoming them. You realize that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity for growth. You begin to see obstacles not as evidence that things aren't working out, but as proof that you're being prepared for something greater. When you make acting as if everything works out your permanent operating system, you don't just change your results, you change your entire identity. You become a different person, someone who naturally expects success and consistently achieves it. This isn't a temporary mindset shift, it's a complete life transformation. Let me share with you the complete story of David, a man who went from bankruptcy to building a multi-million-dollar empire simply by changing how he thought about outcomes. 5 years ago, David was sleeping on his brother's couch. $80, 0 cents in debt. With a failed restaurant and a string of business disasters behind him, his wife had left him, his credit was destroyed, and everyone told him to get a regular job and accept that entrepreneurship wasn't for him. But David made a decision that changed everything. He decided to act as if his next venture would be wildly successful, no matter what the evidence suggested. He woke up every morning and told himself, I'm going to build something amazing today. He dressed like a successful businessman, even though he couldn't afford new clothes. He spoke with confidence about his plans, even though he had no money to fund them. David started a small consulting business from his laptop, helping local businesses improve their operations. Instead of worrying about where his next client would come from, he acted as if clients were already lined up waiting for his help. He created professional materials, built a website, and started networking as if he was already successful. Within 6 months, he had 3 steady clients and was paying his bills. But here's where it gets interesting. David didn't stop there. He kept acting as if bigger things were coming. He treated every client like they were his pathway to something greater. When one client mentioned they needed help with a major project, David didn't hesitate to bid on it, even though it was 10 times larger than anything he'd handled before. He acted as if he could handle it, and because he did, he won the contract. That one project led to another, then another. David's confidence attracted talented people who wanted to work with him. His certainty about outcomes made clients trust him with bigger responsibilities. Within 2 years, he had a team of 12 people and was generating over $1 million in revenue. The ripple effect on David's personal life was equally dramatic. His ex-wife noticed the change in him and they began reconciling. His relationship with his children improved because he was no longer stressed and desperate. His health got better because he wasn't living in constant anxiety. His entire world transformed because he transformed his expectations. Today, David owns 3 successful companies, has a net worth of over $5 million, and is happily remarried. But when I asked him what made the difference, he didn't talk about business strategies or marketing techniques. He said, "I stopped trying to succeed and started acting like I already was successful. Everything else followed from that." This principle accelerates goal achievement in ways that seem almost magical. When you act as if your goals are inevitable, you stop second-guessing yourself and start taking bold action. You negotiate better deals because you're not desperate. You attract better opportunities because you radiate confidence. You persist longer because you know the breakthrough is coming. Creating a success environment around you becomes natural when you live this way. You automatically seek out positive influences and distance yourself from negative ones. You surround yourself with books, programs, and people that reinforce your new identity. You create a bubble of expectation that protects you from doubt and limitation. The compound benefits over time are extraordinary. Every success builds on the previous one. Every challenge overcome strengthens your certainty. Every goal achieved raises your standards for the next level. You create what I call a success spiral, a self-reinforcing cycle of achievement that accelerates with each turn. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of living this principle is how it affects others. When you consistently act as if everything works out, you become a source of inspiration for everyone around you. People start believing in their own possibilities because they see what's possible in you. You become a catalyst for success in others' lives. Your children watch you handle challenges with confidence and learn that problems are temporary but solutions are permanent. Your colleagues see you approach projects with certainty and start adopting the same mindset. Your friends notice how things seem to work out for you and begin asking what you're doing differently. This creates a multiplier effect. The more you live this principle, the more you inspire others to live it too. Soon you're surrounded by people who expect the best and usually get it. Your environment becomes a greenhouse for growth and achievement. Your new identity as someone who expects success changes how you show up in every situation. You walk differently, speak differently, and think differently. You're no longer hoping for a good outcome, you're expecting it. You're no longer preparing for failure, you're preparing for success. This isn't about being unrealistic or ignoring potential problems. It's about approaching every situation from a position of strength rather than fear. It's about programming your mind to look for solutions rather than obstacles. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success because that's what you expect. The choice is yours. You can continue living as you have, hoping things work out while secretly preparing for them not to. Or you can make the decision right now to start acting as if everything always works out for you. You can choose to expect the best possible outcome in every situation. You can choose to approach every challenge with confidence and certainty. This decision will not only change your results, it will change your life. You'll become a different person, someone who naturally expects success and consistently achieves it. You'll inspire others to raise their own standards. You'll create a legacy of achievement that extends far beyond your own goals. The power to transform your life exists within you right now. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. And you don't need to wait for anything to change. You simply need to make the decision to act as if everything always works out. And then live that decision every single day. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you. It's time to claim it. It's time to become the person you were meant to be. It's time to act as if everything always works out. Because when you do, it will.